Hey there. Well, hello. It's your girl, Shauna Ray, and welcome back to Boss Talk in 2023. I am so excited. Tonight is the first Boss Talk of the new year. And of course, it's going to be juicy. I'm really happy to have made it into 2023, as I'm sure many of you are as well. So, this is a great opportunity. We get to leave behind all of the things that didn't go well for us in 2022, all of the things that we would rather forget. And we can embrace all the things that maybe we got started with and are going to be exciting for this new year to come. So, if you're out there, put in the chat something that you are excited for in 2023. So, for me, I am excited about more health and wellness, like overall health and wellness. Like, I want to extend and expand the healthy parts of me in 2023. I want to, and by the way, that includes mind, body, spirit, because at Living Loved, which is my private practice, we are holistic. And so holistic wellness is very important to me. So I'll be launching campaigns about wellness, about mental health, about physical health, and all kinds of things that bring about health and change and prosperity and abundance, and not just abundance of financial abundance, although that is a very good thing, but abundance of mindset, abundance of a healthy, wealthy mindset, the abundance of giving and gifting, the abundance of sharing our gifts, and all of that kind of thing, everything that goes with that. So, hopefully, you have made some New Year's intentions. I don't like to say resolutions because that you may be resolved to do something, but you may not have the right intention behind it, and therefore it doesn't come to fruition. And so I have made some New Year's intentions. One of them is to get more sleep, because again, about health, wellness, I need better sleep. I need to commit to better sleep. So again, if you're out there, put in the chat, what are some of the things that you are looking forward to seeing come to fruition for yourselves and your family and friends in 2023? So I am also excited about this new year, because with this new year comes new ideas, new relationships, new friendships, and new ways to embark upon those friendships and relationships. So, um, how are you going to be different in your relationships this year? How are you going to be different in your friendships? How will you show up in a different way than perhaps you have ever? And maybe you usually show up a certain way, but some things got in the way in 2022, and you get to reconnect with those ways of being, so that in 2023, your relationships are fuller and richer and have more longevity and all that good stuff. So I see we have a couple people out there watching. And so what I'd love for you all to do is just put in the chat what you're looking forward to in 2023. So I want to introduce my guest. My guest tonight is just a ball of energy, a ball of beautiful, positive spirit. And I can't wait for you to meet her. So I'll tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Heather Wilson. And Heather is a life coach and author of Ms. Bounce Back, the lifestyle brand all about resilience for women. Now, the mission is for women to learn to identify the issues, heal, and recover so that we can move forward, move on, and flourish. Heather is a graduate of Clark Atlanta University. She's the mother of two beautiful children, a producer, a former teacher, and she decided to follow her life path and become a life coach. So in that way, she gets to share the gifts and the lessons that she's learned with everyone out there. So in the process, Heather would journal, and Ms. Bounce Back was born out of that journaling experience. Heather says that we all have obstacles in life, but it's how we overcome those obstacles that defines who we are. Heather's motto is life goes on, and so should you. And that is the purpose of Ms. Bounce Back. Now, I don't want to say another word before bringing on Ms. Bounce Back herself, Ms. Heather Wilson. So please say hello to Heather.
Hi, yay! Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ms. Bounce Back. It's so good to see you.
You too. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Heather, I have been watching you bounce back all
Right?
over the social media platforms, and your website is beautiful, and I love
Thank
what you are
you.
doing.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of where I'm at right now. It's a
And
journey.
that is beautiful.
Yeah, but the whole process has been about gratitude, right? And seeing the
Mhm.
little steps and how you've grown so they become bigger steps and you realize, oh my gosh, I've grown so much, right?
Yes, yes, indeed. So when you say growth, tell me if you could just sort of encapsulate what your growth has looked like.
Wow, that's a lot. Mentally, physically, spiritually, in so many ways, right? We all need balance in our life, and it can't just be one thing really that we can just put all our energy into. And I know people say that all the time, but to me, that's not really realistic. I'm a multitasker, and there can't be just me focusing on one part. Um, there were so many things that were wrong in my life, and it all kind of hit me all at once. So it really wasn't a choice for me, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
If I'm being realistic, I recognize, yes, there was some spiritual things going on, and the trickle down came down to me, and it hit me when it did, right? And
Wow.
God said, you got to change right now.
Wow.
Things in your life have to change right now.
Wow.
You might not think you're ready for these changes, but guess what, baby, you are.
Mhm.
And that's what kind of
Got it.
happened. And I
Got
had
it.
to put my big girl panties on and figure out where I was, who I was, identify what was wrong, and where I was going to go to fix those things.
Mhm. So Heather,
Simple.
can you point to something that made you recognize, uh-oh, there's a need for change here. There's some things going on in my life that I don't like or that aren't well, that don't serve me. Can you point to some things that brought that to fruition for you?
Yes. And it wasn't for me one specific thing. It was a culmination of events. And
Mhm.
then okay, one day I got a tattoo and it says, one day she woke up and realized she was worthy. And that's
Ooh.
exactly kind of what happened to me. It wasn't anything significant that one day that I can remember. I think back to it all the time. I just woke up and realized this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I'm not happy. I don't feel fulfilled, though
Mhm.
I'm making everybody else's circumstances great for them. I am sacrificing myself in the process. And
Mm.
when you start to know really about self esteem and loving yourself, you really won't allow that to happen or occur
Absolutely.
longer in your life. There needs to be, again, that balance, right? And so that's what kind of happened to me. And I didn't want to do it anymore after 14 years. I said,
Mhm.
I deserve better than this situation. And I just literally want to be happy.
Happy. I love
Yeah.
it. So can you say, like, I know that you're saying that, you were doing all these things for everyone else,
Mhm.
and you were making other people feel good, be good, helping their dreams to come true. Is that what I'm
Mhm.
hearing you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you think that comes from?
Wow. A lot of things. One, being a woman.
Mm,
And another thing I can just pinpoint, being a Black woman, two different things. Um,
mhm,
and how we are as Black women, um, and how we're grown and bred pretty much. We are nurturers, we are lovers, we are givers, we are carers. We will put it on our back. We will get it from over there, get it from over there, take it from here. Even if we ain't got it, we gonna make sure you got it. And that's
mhm,
kind of how I was raised. And I didn't necessarily know that was a part of me, but it
uh-huh,
was.
yeah,
And when I started to recognize, hey, my tank isn't getting filled, but I'm filling everybody else's tank. Hmm,
mhm,
is something wrong here? And I don't
right,
need to be the sacrificial lamb. I'm important too, and I matter too. And that's kind of when things started to change, when I started really going back to what I used to teach my preschool class, hey, Charlotte, why are you beautiful? And little 2-year-old, 3-year-old Charlotte would say, I love my smile. Or, Paul Louis would say, well, I love how I could put a card together, right? I had to literally take it
mhm,
back to the basics and say, Heather, why are you amazing? And then start to relive all the things that my teacher said, or my friends, parents of other people that I know, my parents, all
mhm.
those things, and start to remember, Heather, who you are. Like Lion King, he says in Lion King, remember who you are, Simba.
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting because we often, and myself as a therapist and as working with kids and trauma and all of that, I a lot of times will find that people who have this as a trait sometimes have not been nurtured in that way when they were children, and
Right,
they weren't taught what
right.
what was amazing about them. But it sounds like you're saying that you were given those tools, you were given those gifts as a child.
Yes.
Somewhere along the way,
Mhm.
it sounds like you forgot who you were.
Yes. And I got caught
Mhm.
up in the giving back of everything. And
Uh-huh.
because I come from a family that always gave back, my mom was, a part of the Urban League, and we did volunteer work. We always gave back. But again, that balance, right? Of
Yes, yes, yes.
right, it's always about balance. It always comes back to that
Yeah.
of just knowing, okay, where do I draw the line, and where do I recognize that cutting some people off in some situations is protecting me, and that's self-love.
Right, right. Yes, indeed. And I think that a lot of times when as women we are nurtured and we feel like that
Sorry,
we're
dog.
supposed to do that. Oh, don't even worry, he's welcome. And so I think that we believe that we get it twisted sometimes. We get confused with how much of ourselves we're supposed to give and what giving looks like. Giving does not mean that you don't fill your own tank. It doesn't mean and it's even biblical. I mean, there's a scripture in Corinthians. I can't remember this, first or second Corinthians. And but I remember that it says it is not that we be relieved while you be hard pressed.
Ooh, I need
And
to
so
write that one down.
yeah, and it's in the part of the where it talks about sowing generously.
Mm,
And so I think that we sometimes begin to believe that in order to sow generously, we have to give all that we have. And and this is not necessarily material giving. This is
right.
giving of our time, of
Mhm. Our
our
heart, our
spirit,
soul.
our heart, our soul.
Yeah.
Yes, because your soul cannot, it is not that your soul be given once, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
that you are the person who gives from her soul.
Right.
So if you are giving all of your soul, then you don't have anything left. And so you're a one-time giver.
Exactly.
And that's not what it's about.
And I also find a problem with also being a Black woman. We often know growing up that at least in America, because that's what I can speak for. We have to be 110% to somebody else's 50, 60%.
Mhm.
So literally when I came out, it was go time.
Yes.
And I don't really half do anything that I'm doing. If it
Mhm.
means cleaning, going to school, being a lover, being your partner, being in a business, I'm not going to come half because I already know what the perspectives of other people are in our society. And so
Mhm.
with that, I often feel like I got to overdo it. There is that thing of perfectionism I also had to let go of too, because I
Mhm.
always felt like, oh, it got to be perfect. Oh, my hair got to be laid straight. Oh, I got to look like this before I can do it. And no, it's okay
Right.
to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to bounce back. And that's what we need to remember to keep doing.
I love that. Now I know that you went to Clark Atlanta. Shout
I
out.
did. CAU,
HBCU.
CAU.
So tell me, because I did not have the experience of an HBCU,
Mhm,
but I do know that, what you mentioned about, we as Black people, Black women,
mhm,
must give 110 to somebody else's 40, 50, 60. Why is
mhm.
that? Because we're not going to be acknowledged. We're not going to be looked at. We're going to, our 50% might be really great. Our 100% might be really great, but nobody's going to look at that. And if
Yeah.
you're giving more and more and more, if you're over giving and you're really killing the game, quote unquote, it can't be denied, right? And so tell me about the culture of education at an HBCU, or as your experience. How
Mhm.
does that, what does that look like at an HBCU? Because at NYU, nobody said that to me, right? They didn't
Right.
say, Sean LeRae, you're a Black woman, so you got it, because they didn't even hardly recognize that I was there. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
whole nother Oprah, but you know how I
That's
am.
a whole nother. I'll come back for that topic.
That's right. That's a whole nother Oprah. But as loud as I am and as in front as I am, it's like, oh no, you gonna see me,
You
right?
gonna see me today. Yeah, and that's table talk for us, but
Sure.
these are things that we need to start getting out to other friends of ours that are of different cultures, so they start to know a little bit of how we think and why we think the way we think and feel the way we do. Certain things like that shouldn't be a secret, and if you're my friend and you're of a different race, you should want to know and understand where I'm coming from, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so true. And as a therapist, I actually created a training called What Every Therapist Needs to Know About Black Folks and Other People of Color, BIPOC, because I think it's
I love
important
that.
for therapists. If somebody walks into your office and they're telling you about their grind, and you do not have the Black experience or the Latinx experience or the Asian experience or whatever it is, because that's not just taught in
Mhm.
our culture as Black people. Latinx people get the same thing. Asian people have been told the same thing. And this is what I've learned in my comings and goings and research and conversations with other people of color. And so I think that as we move into this whole space of diversity and allyship and that sort of
Mhm.
thing, I think it's important for people to know. And as more and more people of color start to embark on the therapy journey, and they are open more than ever before to the idea of getting the mental health help, um, it's important that there be therapists that look like them, look like
Yeah,
us, but also in the cases that there are not, because they're definitely not enough,
right.
um, that people, non-people of color, are equipped with some of the tools that it might take so that they can at least be the listening ear, be the understanding human to a person who comes in with these kinds of situations.
Exactly. And I have some of that in my book because part of what I dealt with was feeling like, hmm, I was in situations where they were upscale or elite. However, there was no representation of blackness around to even understand my circumstance. What I'm
Mm,
talking about, for instance, I had gone to a therapist. before, and I was open to who she was, didn't care that she was a white woman. However, I didn't feel like she culturally understood me and my people and where we have come from as African Americans to even grasp where I was now. And it was problematic because unfortunately, she had say in things that affected my life as a Black woman. And that's a problem.
Mhm. Yes, I see that. Yep.
And so as we start to think about how things affect all of us, oh, now all of us want to be open about race and where we are. Okay, let's really break it down, because Kimberly Crenshaw, coined what was her phrase?
Critical race theory.
It was intersectionality,
Yes, yes.
and how she talks about how Black women don't only have to deal with being a woman, but being Black, class, and case. So we're getting it from a lot of different dynamics. And then when we start to have a voice about anything, then you're irate. Oh, you're angry. Well, should I not be angry?
Right, right,
Right.
right.
Those things are things that having gone to a Black college and then being in a multicultural, of course, world, and then having kids with a white man, I've seen the dynamic of so many different sides of things that are different, and I like to talk about, and which is why I wrote Miss Bounce Back, the first book, because I was dealing with so many different adversities and you know microaggressions, right? That I
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily able to put into a term or a phrase at the point,
Mhm.
right? Which so many of us for years have been going through. And then it took that COVID time where I had a chance to like sit and settle and kind
Yes,
of get
indeed.
back to where I was. And I started taking a baths because of you. And
The
in those
bubble bath, the infamous bubble
baths,
bath.
that was the beginning of everything. And I was taking those baths and writing and like thinking like this doesn't make sense, or this does make sense, and what I actually felt about me. And it wasn't shaped around what everybody else thought. It was
Mhm.
about what Heather thought. And that mattered just as much to me as anything else.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that the bubble baths made a difference in your life, love.
Totally, totally. Do you remember that day?
I'm trying to think because I know
Okay, so let me tell you. I called you one day and I said, "Hey," or text you, "What you doing?" And you said, "I'm waiting for my bath water to be drawn." And I said, "What is this?" Okay, I was cursing in my head, okay? And I'm thinking, this sounds like she is on Coming to America. This is some bougie thing. What is he talking about? And you said that your husband was drawing your bathwater. And in the moment, I said, oh, because I'm a lover, I said, oh my God, that's so amazing. And then I thought, oh, I don't have anybody to draw my bathwater. And then the Jersey girl popped up real fast. And I said, I'm going to draw my own damn bathwater. And that's when literally all this started. It came from that bath. So
I
thank you.
love it.
Thank your
I love
husband
it.
for the bath, because it literally inspired a whole collection of things, that
Oh,
weren't born before. So thank you.
oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's see who's out here. Hey, Gigi. Gigi says, great conversation. Thank you for tuning
Gigi.
in, sis. Who said? TT, Terry Mann. Terry Mann
Hi,
said, there's nothing
Gigi.
like a bubble bath.
Okay.
Yes,
You have to
and,
go to Miss
well, and I
Nelson.
made a mistake, by the way. That's not TT. TT is our other soror Terry. This is soror Terry Mann. And
Hi,
if you look
Terry.
behind Terry, if you look behind Heather, she is an aspiring soror.
Yes, I wasn't trying to be.
But she and I have talked about it. That's why I have to get active so that we can get Heather brought on in.
Yes,
Right?
I would love to be a part of the team.
Absolutely. And let's see. Coach Kim Anthony, this is so awesome. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Now,
Hi, Coach Kim.
Coach Kim is amazing. Coach Kim is the CEO and founder of the Urban Excellence Academy, or the Urban Excellence Institute, which I am a certified coach through. And Heather has been it has been a product of some of the coaching that I have learned over the time, combining a little bit of coaching, a little bit of the therapy stuff I learned, and put it all together. And so I really, really love, thank you so much for sharing that. That's where that came from. My William, as all of y'all know, was my bubble bath dryer. He loved doing that for me. And I so grateful to have that as a reflection and as a memory, and that he started that for me. And my friends tease me all the time. They're like, well, could you date him, or could you date him? I'm like, child, he don't look like he run no bubble bath. Okay.
He can't run no bubble bath. He can't come over here.
You don't even step to this. Okay.
Right.
Sora Rhonda says, great conversation. I am enjoying the energy tonight. Thank you. Yes, indeed. So Heather, you said that conversation sparked this whole, and I love this whole brand, because you not only have a book, and I'm so proud of you, and I love, you're teaching me, even because I got me some branding folks now. So tell us about the brand Ms. Bounce Back.
So the brand Ms. Bounce Back is, okay, let me backtrack. I'm an only child, and my mom is amazing. And I'm from a line of teacher, generations of teachers. Growing up, my mom would write my name on everything. Okay. So growing up, I saw Heather everywhere. And so that kind of helped me already with what I didn't know about manifestation. Right. I saw it. It wasn't an option of what I saw. I saw Heather. I saw, you are amazing. You are great. These are all the things my mom would put around when I was a little girl in the 70s. Right. And so all I did was pick up from where she left off. And now I recognize, well, then that I have to see it for me. I'm visual. I need to see, Heather, you can bounce back from this. Heather, this can change right now. Heather, girls can do anything. Brown girls are amazing. And I had Post-its and stuff like I was Celie in The Color Purple. Refocus all my thoughts, in the refrigerator. You are great. Oh my God, you look great today when I open a cabinet. Because these are all little love notes that I used to leave my kids or my ex, right? In their lunchbox, I would write, I love you, right? So why can't I say it to myself?
I love that. 100%.
And that's kind of how it happened. And I would leave myself little love notes everywhere and start to remember why I am so amazing.
I love it. And so that is, so what I'm hearing you say is that loving yourself, manifesting that, acknowledging that out loud and in writing, because for me, I always say, if I didn't write it down, it didn't happen.
Yes.
And so at the beginning of it, every opportunity to lose weight, I would say, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight. And I never lost a pound. But when I wrote it down, then I would actually stick to it, because I feel like writing it down is the truth.
Right.
And if I put it out there, it doesn't matter, because ain't nobody going to look back and see it. There's no accountability. But if I write that thing down, it has got to happen. So I love that. So,
and it reverberates in your mind every time you think it. People do that in like Buddhism, right? With the mala beads, and they go around the mala beads and they say the affirmation as many times as they go around the beads, right? We all do it in different cultures and languages, right? In forms.
Absolutely.
But it's the same thing. Even if you're a witch, you would say it's a spell, right? Spelling is all the same.
Well, and it's so funny, because it is in the Bible, it says, speak that which is not as though it is.
Right.
right? So that's what is that? That's an affirmation.
It's totally an affirmation. You're
That's
supposed
an
to already act like
affirmation.
it's already here. You are already abundant. I always,
Yeah.
oh, this is a big thing for me. I have a jar for tea, like
Uh-huh.
your sweet tea
Mhm.
in summertime. And instead of my sweet tea in there, I have paper. And every time I think of something I'm grateful for, I write and I put in this jar. And it's so full, it gets so full because I write, I'm thankful the lights are on. I'm thankful it's gas in the car. I'm thankful that
Absolutely.
God kept my brain. I'm thankful all the little things that you really don't think about. I'll put all those little things in a jar. And I feel like that all culminates and helps us recognize where we are as far as where we used to be. Right.
Yes, indeed. My friend Chantel Denise, shout out to Chantel Denise.
Hey, Chantel, please.
Chantel Denise she does I think it's her Woman of Worth campaign. Wow.
Uh-huh.
I love that. WOW.
I love that.
And one of the things that I was gifted from her and that she has on her website is a gratitude journal.
Ah.
And so for every single day, you get to write the things that you're grateful for. And it has all these prompts. And it's really amazing because now, like you, I think of all the little things that you might not think about. But if you've ever been through something, and I do mean through it, like it didn't stop you back here, you were able to continue on through it. Yes, then those little things are so important because they help you to get through it. Yep. Some days you don't want to wake up. You don't want to get out of the bed when you do. So I'm like, thank you, God, for giving me breath in this body and helping me get out of this bed, put my feet on the floor. Thank you, God, that I have an amazing job that I love, that I get to go to. Right. And oh my God, thank you that I'm the boss. You know what I mean? And like, just thank you for the gas in the car. Because during the pandemic, the gas was so doggone high. There are people that could not put gas in their car. They could not go places. You know what I mean? So I love that as just the beginning of the teachings, right?
Yeah.
So what did Kim say? Kim said, yes, great conversation. Draw your own bath. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. Terry Mann said, love to have you. Yes, she's talking about.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm ready.
I love the one and only. She's an only child as well.
Oh,
and as
so
you know, I was raised an only child, but I have two amazing sisters and a brother.
And the thing is, with only children, I always feel like people always think, oh, you're an only child, so you're probably selfish. No, if anything, I'm an only child that wants to give everything away. My mama had to tell me to, Heather, keep something for yourself.
And that's it. And the thing about it, I think too, is, people think of only children as being selfish and spoiled and all of those things. But if you have the right parents, like my parents were like, yes, you can have these things, but look, I worked hard. I got straight A's. I got good grades. I did what I was supposed to do. Not only that, you weren't allowed to be no brat at my house.
Right. Mine either.
The little temper tantrums, that was not thought of. That was like a good little behind tapping, if you will.
Yes, totally. Or I would get the look. I would even get
the look was
just the look.
Yeah. The look was enough sometimes, but then I was that kind of child, so sometimes the look wasn't enough for me. But
you had to test it. I know you had to test it.
Yeah, I'm that toe tapper in the water kind of girl.
I already know. That's why I love you.
Did y'all mean that? Oh, got it.
Oh, I thought you meant it like that.
Okay, got it. That means no. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Absolutely. Gigi says, yes, the gratitude journal. Absolutely. Gigi knows about the gratitude journal. And Terry says, no, tantrums would want a whooping, a good one. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes,
so you would have to go pick the switch. Okay.
Yes. And isn't that just cruel? Oh my God. I can't even tell you. But you know what? It's brilliant because you learned really quickly not to pick the ones that you thought were going to be like easy on you. It was like, no. And you got the message. You're like, don't want to do that again.
Yeah. You learn quick.
Absolutely. But our mothers did not want us to show up in the world selfishly. Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
It is so true.
And
So,
I'm so proud of that. I'm happy that my mom was that type of woman. For sure.
yes. Hmm. So tell me, okay, so you have so let me see this. So the Ms. Bounce Back
Mhm.
workbook, right?
Yes.
So what are some of the things that people will get to experience in the workbook?
So in the workbook each day, so I set it up kind of basically how I was going through it while taking that. And so each day is just a different thing. I might guide you to a song that I might want you to play, and then write your thoughts about how you feel about that song, what it brought up in you, what it inspired in
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
Other days, I want you to be shady. I want you to spill the tea about who was trying to spill tea about you. I
Mm.
like how my book flows more than some of the other ones that I've seen, because a lot of them, which there should be, are a little more textbook and a little more regulated in a certain
Mhm.
way. I feel
Mhm.
like mine gives a little bit of a lot of that. I'm lying. A lot of that black girl sassy energy to it.
I love
And
it.
and I like that. And I want more of us to feel like they can relate to what I'm saying because it's in layman's terms. It's how we speak on a regular basis. I'm not
Mhm.
using big artificial words to make me sound better because this isn't about me and my
Mhm.
ego. It's about helping you, which is why it's not a book of autobiography. It's a workbook for you about your
Mhm.
life and where you are, so you can get to where you need to go, because my journey might be different from yours,
I
and
love
that's okay. But what I'm saying in the book is general: be nice to people, be
it.
a normal person. Those are simple things. I don't care what culture, race, religion, creed you come from. Be a good person, right? And
Mhm.
those are those little things that we tell our kids, but we seem to forget. Get back up again,
Mhm.
right? Once your baby fall when they learning how to walk, get back up again. But why can't you tell that to your 40-year-old self?
That's a question. I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of it is like it sounds like it's reminders of what we know, but we seem to let slip by
Yes.
the wayside as we go through things. And let's face it, some of us have been through things that slap us and slap us hard and leave a mark. And
Mhm.
so when that happens, sometimes you do have to be reminded
Yes.
that that didn't happen to you because of who you are, because you are not
Right.
something or something else. It happened to you because that's what happens in life. A lot of
Right.
times we are I don't want to use the word victim, but we are, something happens to us not because of anything that has anything to do with us, but maybe how somebody else views the world and the people that they allow, that they are surrounded with, and the people that they allow into their lives based on whatever reasoning.
Mhm.
But it's more about how they experience the world and what they put out that you might have been like in the way of. And
Yes, in the
so
way of their karma. Yes, that
exactly. And
too.
so we have to teach ourselves too not to be the target, to
Right.
how to get out of the way. And there's never a moment, there's not a moment too soon or a moment too late. It's like
Yes.
whenever you find yourself in a space where you don't belong, that doesn't serve you, and I don't care if you've been there for a year, I don't care if you've been there for a week, a month, and 10
Yep.
years or whatever, it is always okay to make the
Yep.
decision that today is the day that this no longer is a thing for me and I'm out.
Exactly. And I don't care how many years you dealt with it. It's okay to
Yes.
change your mind after 15, 20, 30, however many years it took you to recognize your worth, then that's when you go. And to also
Absolutely.
remember to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. That was a huge thing for
Ooh.
me. To get to that point where I understood that it was okay that I wasn't aware that narcissists exist. It's
Mm.
okay that I wasn't, brought up in such a horrible environment that I don't recognize that this is what some people do. How was I supposed to know? It's okay. I live and I learn and I keep it moving. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, and that is so true. And that's exactly what I mean when I say that you're the victim of somebody else's bad behavior, somebody else's bad experience, and how they dealt with it. And yes, narcissism is real. And I see it too often. And what is also key is a narcissist is looking for you.
Yeah.
They go out, they know exactly who
they looking for. And I didn't know that.
And nice.
I didn't know that whole dynamic before you.
Yes.
Like the whole narcissist empath dynamic. I didn't know what an empath was. I didn't know I was one. Yes. I'm like, where am I? And why do I feel? Oh, this is why I feel everybody else's energy and recognize, this ain't my energy.
Right. And I have a show for you to go back and watch, because I had Mishka Kimball, who is a colleague and friend, and she has a book called the Empaths. Let's see, the Empath Self-Care Journal. And I'm going to send you a link. You must get it, because she talks about empaths, and she came on and she talked about it, but she also did a training to help us therapists recognize when empaths come in and how we can help them, because it is so real that, she said that she could sit next to somebody with back pain and feel their back pain. And I'm going to tell you something really crazy. The day that she did her presentation for our therapist organization, I came in and came to her table, and her husband was there. There was a chair, and I sat down, and then I said, "Oh, is this seat taken?" She goes, "No, I was going to sit there." And she said, "But I will go and sit over here." And the interesting thing is, had she sat there, she would have felt my back pain that day. And sometimes it causes her to be kind of off. So I just am like amazed at how God moved her around to the other side of the table so that she would not be there to feel my pain. And so it blows my mind. And some of what she taught that day was that, empaths can be preyed upon. And
sure.
and so the narcissist, it's like you have a target on your back. If
your little Red Riding Hood running through the forest, basically, is how I visually see it. I was running through the forest, and you know me, I'm happy skipping Heather, so I can imagine me skipping. Right? I'm happy skipping. I'm new to LA, Heather. I don't know too many people. I don't really know anything. I'm smiling. I'm bright. I probably got on yellow because I like bright colors. I'm a target for a narcissist. Okay.
I'm still getting the visual.
Yeah, I attract them still. And I know that. And so now I have better precautions with who I allow to come into my life, because I recognize, like a moth to a flame, for sure.
Yes, bounce back. Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, that's the whole thing. Is like Mama said, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
When you know better, you do better, you choose better. You're not prey, all of that. And you never have to stop being who you are or lose the pieces of you that make you so unique and so amazing and so beautiful.
And that was in my situation. I don't know everybody else's situation, but that was part of the goal, to break my spirit, to change who I was inside, and to make it to everybody else as if he made me. You didn't make me, so you can't break me, right?
Say that.
Right. I was already a person and a whole person before I met you. However, I was okay and emotionally intelligent enough to not feel like I had to control everything. So I let you play that role. However, when you don't support me and you don't have my back, then that's when things start to change. And when I start to pull my energy back, then now it's a big problem. And that is often what happens when an empath pulls their energy back, and we do it in a nice way because we're not going out, acting all crazy and whatever else. Then, oh my God, then that's when they have to flip it on us, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a deflection, right? They get it off of them and put it back on you. And I recognize all these things now, which means
Mhm.
now I can no longer be in those types of situations because I see them as red flags. Before,
Right.
before I didn't know what I was seeing. What I thought I saw was, oh, this is just a relationship. This is just what you deal with. No, it's not.
Mm-mm. And it's good now because a lot of people think that some of these hurtful things and things that hurt in relationships and things that don't make sense to you and that don't feel good, that
Mhm.
that's because they're not supposed to be there.
Right.
And so you
Right.
get to make the decision that no, 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 this does not feel good. There's a
Mhm.
difference between being with a partner and loving someone and caring about them and having them care about you, and then y'all hit a wall, y'all hit
Right.
a rough patch and all of
That's
that good stuff. But there is a distinct difference between
yes.
hitting a rough patch and being in the wrong relationship.
Yes. Yes. And
And so,
somebody doing negative things to hurt you,
yes,
to
yes.
fight
And I
you.
think, yes. And I think that it's important to recognize that and to trust your gut. So much of the time as women, we do not trust, we don't hear the small still voice, we don't trust the disruption in our tummy that
Yeah.
says, oh, something right here, red flag, don't hear the sirens, like all of that, because we think that we're supposed to be nice and
Yeah.
and
Be
we
not.
start to think
Yeah.
maybe I can help this person
Mhm.
different.
Let me save you. Even though we don't say that in our head, we're thinking, let me save you.
Yes,
No.
yes. If you want a job saving people, become a paramedic. Get out of
Yeah.
that relationship. It's not good for you.
I remember one time I came to you and I said, what were my words? I said something like, he's acting like an ass. And you said, um,
I know what you're gonna
did
say.
you always have signs of this? And I said, yeah, yeah, there were signs. I'm not gonna lie. I remember because I was so in the moment. I said, I remembered all the signs. I saw it, but so what? And you said, well, if you knew that the ass could fart,
No, I
then
said if you knew he wasn't ass, what made you think the ass wouldn't fart?
thank you. Yes. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Why didn't you expect it? You already knew what you were walking into. So now, why didn't you think that that was the byproduct of what you were going to get? You set
Absolutely.
yourself up for it. And I
Yeah.
kind of did. And I forgave myself for that, for
That's
sure.
what you got to do. Absolutely. You
Mhm.
must forgive yourself because if you don't, then you continue along the pattern because then you don't think you're worthy,
Yes.
right? You start to get that whole thing twisted.
Yep.
Leslie, hey there, little sis. She says, great advice.
Hi, Leslie.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Terry said, you ain't Jesus. You can't save everybody. Amen. Amen.
Okay.
That is so true.
I
But
had to learn
part of that, it's part of the nurturing that
that.
we have as women, and particularly empathetic women. But I think that it's really important that we start to value ourselves enough to know that to know and understand that that's not what that means,
Right.
right? That you can be nice and lovely as you walk away.
Exactly. And I can love you here and you can be over there. And that's okay too.
Yeah, I can love you as a human being on the planet, as a
Yes.
child of the Most High, but I do not have to be in relationship with you.
Right. And I also kind of
Mhm.
got to a point where, and I have it in my book where I talk about sometimes you're in situations where I don't necessarily feel like it needs to be a forgive and forget situation. So I
Mm.
changed it to recognize and recover because
Ooh,
there's
that's
some
rich.
situations where I can't forgive you for what you've done. And I'm just being honest, right? And some
Mhm,
things I can't forgive. And that's just me on my journey and where I'm at. And maybe in a year I might feel different, but right now
mhm.
that's not where I'm at. And right now I just need to recognize, identify who you are, what you've done, and how you've affected my life, and I need to recover from that. And so
Mm.
I can move on. And for me, that is similar to a forgive and forget, just on a different person's level, right?
Right.
Different people, different things.
Sure, absolutely. And I love that you said that this is where you are right now, because you have to
Right.
recognize the space that you're in. Otherwise, you're not being honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, there's no way to change. But I
Right.
think that in time, as you recover more and more, forgiveness becomes a possibility.
Possible.
Because and here's why I'm saying that, Heather, because
Mhm.
forgiveness is, and you've heard this a million times, I'm gonna be real cliche, but forgiveness is not for that other person.
Right.
It's
But that's
for
where I
you.
say the recognize and recover kind of is equal in balance for me for that. Right.
Mhm.
It's layers, right? So with
Sure.
somebody my mom, if I'm mad at her, it probably will be a forgive and forget if there's something wrong. However, other people might not get that same privilege because
Right.
everybody doesn't deserve that sort of relationship with me where I have to forgive and forget, but I recognize who you are. I get where we've been. I'm
Mhm.
over it. I'm moving on, but we
Mhm.
ain't at that forgive and forget kind of thing.
Well, but see, I think that's the key piece though. Forgive does not mean forget at
Right.
all. At
For
all.
sure.
Forgive means I release me from you.
Yes.
I release me from you. I am not judge and jury. That's God's business. I'm not trying to do that, but I will forgive you so that I can be released from you.
Right.
I will
And
no
this
longer, I
time
don't
you
hate you. I don't hate you. I
Mhm.
don't, none of that.
I'm
You know,
indifferent.
but this here is gone. This is done.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
out. I'm so out. And no, you don't get the privilege of my space ever again.
Right. Right. And that's
Right?
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
They have
so
to live and learn too, right?
absolutely, and you get to do that over there.
Oh, way over there.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I got other stuff to manifest over here for sure.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I will pray for you as I walk away, run
Yeah.
away, stay
Yeah.
away, all of that, all of
Mhm.
that. I
And
be
blessings to you as you go.
yes, yes. It's what is I have a client who says, uh, God bless you on your journey, be warm and well fed.
Be warm and well fed. I love that. Be warm and well fed. Okay. I love
But
that
I'm over
so
here, you
much.
over there, it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, so Ms. Bounce Back is a
Mhm.
workbook, and
Yes.
it is a workbook for women,
Mhm.
and it teaches you how to love yourself
Mhm.
and how to recognize maybe some of the ways that you were in spaces where you found yourself. Forgive yourself so that you can move forward. Is that a
Yes.
good summary of it?
An amazing summary of it. Yes. So
Got
you
it.
can then flourish and be happy and skip. I
And
just
you
want
can skip.
everybody to skip down the street.
That's right. Just let's skip, y'all. Can we all just skip?
Can we all just skip, please? That's all I want.
I love it. Well, Heather, if anybody was supposed to write this book, it was you. If
Thank
anybody
you.
had the tools for not only how to recover from adversity, because that's what resilience is, and how to do so beautifully, as I say, when you are the picture of just beauty and light and love and
Thank
energy
you.
and just beautiful humanness. And I love
Thank
that
you.
about you. And I love the way you show up in the world. And I'm so grateful that you have written this workbook so that
Thank
you can help
you.
other women know what that looks like,
Yes. And
and you
know
do
it
it in
from
such
a
a
real place.
beautiful, I'm sorry.
And know it from a real place, from an
Yes.
authentic place, not a superficial place, right? I've been on both sides of the coin. So I'm
Mhm.
able to not judge people in different situations. All I want you to do is skip and be a good ass person. That's it. Just be a
Mhm.
nice person.
Mhm. Yes, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And the thing about that is that includes being nice to yourself. And you have
Yes.
to be, you get to practice on yourself so that you know how to do that for other people. You know, every time when um people start something, and you know, like when you test it, there's
Hmm.
always testing. And so why not test on yourself, being nice to yourself, so you know what that looks like. When you know that, this worked for me, maybe that'll work for somebody else. And then you test it on a friend.
Hmm.
And then that friend loves it and she tests it on somebody else. And then you have this ripple effect
And I
of
feel like
goodness.
and I feel like a lot of that too has to do with for me, it was at the end of my book, I have a page that says, like Jay-Z's song, allow me to reintroduce myself. You
Right.
know, I recognize that I might have been a different person before. Totally fine. But who I
Mhm,
am right now
mhm.
is this. And this is what I want from you. This is how I reciprocate energy and love. This is where we grow with our relationship. And sometimes you need to reteach people how to treat you. And that's
Absolutely.
okay. But you can't know how you need to be treated if you can't treat yourself that way. I buy myself flowers. So when a man buys
Mhm.
me flowers, yeah, it's kind of expected because I already do it for myself.
Right, right. Exactly, exactly. Hey, Mishka from the Kimball Collective. Now,
Hi,
this is the
Lisa.
woman who wrote the book. I was talking about
Oh,
the book a few moments ago. Heather is a self-identified empath. And so I want her to check out your book and do your workbook as well. And do your workbook as well. Mishka is a therapist. She's a licensed marriage family therapist. She's a coach, and she's also a branding diva.
hi.
So thank you, Miss Mishka.
Nice to
Because
see
Gwendolyn
you.
is here. Yes, Gwendolyn says this has been such a meaningful conversation. Thank you, my sister.
You.
And just to share a little bit about Miss Gwendolyn, Gwendolyn is the founder and CEO of One Solution, which is an HR concern that helps people set up their businesses and companies with their human resources pieces. But in her journey in working in human resources, she learned more and more about personalities, and now she does personality
Uh-huh.
profiles using the color spectrum, which is amazing, and
I
it's
love
based
that.
on BTI science. And so at my next event, our next event, I should say, because Gwendolyn is partnering with me on the Dating from the Soul workshop that we plan to put on April 30th, y'all.
Uh-huh.
So all of your single ladies out there, friends, and all the single ladies,
I know 'em.
put your hands up. So we would love to invite you to join us at the
April
Hope
30th.
Spirit Retreat Center in Encino on April 30th from 8 to 5. And
Cute.
you'll be getting more information on that soon. It'll be all over social media. I want you to spread the word, because we're going to learn how to date from the soul, which means we're going to date from
I
a place of
love
our own wellness and health and healing and loving ourselves in a way that extends beyond anything else. We're going to love ourselves with the love of the Lord. How
I
about
love that.
how about that?
I
And Mishka says to you, hello from a fellow empath.
love okay. Empaths unite. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Heather, we're drawing to the end. So, I want to see if I can help the people find you. So, let me see. I'm going to try something here and see if it works.
Oh, and as of April 21st, as of December 21st, I am on Amazon. So you can purchase me there other than on my website, Miss Bounce Back. Either way.
Okay. That's so awesome. Let's see here. Okay. You can find Heather on Instagram at my chocolate.
My
Let's see.
chocolate chip
Chocolate.
chick.
Wait, say it for me.
My chocolate chip chick.
So is there too many? Is there CHICP or CHI? Should that be a P and not a C in there?
I don't know what I wrote, but it's my chocolate chip chick.
Okay, so I'm gonna redo it, and I'm gonna take out, because I copied and pasted, but I didn't look at it. So chocolate chip chick. There we
Uh-huh.
go. All right, we're gonna put it back.
And she is Miss Bounce Back.
All right. She is Miss Bounce Back, and you can visit the site MsBounceBack.com.
Yes.
And then that's where they can purchase the book.
And all my bath products. Yes.
And all the bath. Oh,
and
yes.
towels and t-shirts and everything else.
Yes. I love those t-shirts too. They're really cute. And then also on Amazon, the book can be found on Amazon, Ms. Bounce Back.
Yes.
And that is Heather Wilson, y'all. Yay. And so please follow Heather on Instagram. Her page is just delightful. And she's just so cute.
I tried to put all my little talents together in one little Heatherism, is what my mom calls it.
I love it. One little Heatherism. Yeah. Shout out to Mama.
Shout out to Mom in Jersey.
Yes. And so please, y'all, follow Miss Heather. Get all the tips on how you can bounce back and look good while doing it. Because that's one of the things that I always say about Miss Heather. She looks good all through the journey, honey.
Oh, thank you.
And just because you can, ladies. So thank you so much, Heather, for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you so much. And I'm so proud of you.
So much more. And I'm so proud of you, my love.
Thank you.
Shout out to all of you who joined in tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, and welcome back to the party next week. And this has been the first Boss Talk of 2023. And I'm so glad to have had you, Terry, Leslie, Gwendolyn, Mishka, Rhonda, Kim, let's see, and Gigi. Thank you, ladies. You guys. I love you guys for always popping in here and sending some love to me and my guests. I really appreciate you from all the way down to my great big old brown and pink and green heart. So we'll be back. We'll be back next week. And I can't even remember who my guest is next week, but I do know this. I do know that the month of February, you will want to be here because February is the love month. It is also my birthday month. So we will be hearing from couples who will be telling us about their love journey.
Hopefully I'm a couple by then.
Well, see, you got some things that brewing in the fire. Okay, we'll talk offline. Love you, Gigi. Thank you, Terry, for your comment about it being a great conversation. It's been plenty of fun. And so please, y'all, come back next week. It'll be a surprise. And I love you all. And you know what to do. Live loved and shalom, y'all. Peace.
Shalom.
You can stay on, Heather, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye. It's your girl, Shawn LaRae. Bye-bye.